practical techniques. We haven't done these practical technique sessions before. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I would like to make it like a very collaborative, more, like discussion. What the 3-year plan at a glance tool that I will present is so simple that it's almost embarrassing, but it's so simple that I can guarantee that it's really useful, and also useful for your networks, where I think the gold really comes in with such simple tools. But you're all incredibly experienced, incredibly capable. Yeah, I'm no specific expert on this, but it's just a tool that I find very useful. So, add in any insights that you see on the way through, and let's make it a valuable session for all of us, just so that we're all got a bit of a framework and managing expectations about what lies ahead over the next 40 minutes or so. I'm going to share the tool quite briefly, like just for about 7 minutes, and then we'll discuss how it could be used in your day-to-day operations, how it could perhaps be used by the partners and stakeholders in your networks, and then if we've got any time left, we can go out into breakouts, into groups of 2 or 3, and actually create a 3-year plan at a glance for yourselves that you can use. And then we'll come back and share any specific kind of insights that we got that we think might be useful for everybody. Have a word about what we're grateful for. It doesn't necessarily have to be related to the tool. It could be somebody that you've been inspired by during the session, and then we'll sign out before 9 p.m. my time, and I don't know what time wherever you all are. So with that, I'll just share my screen. This tool, as you all probably saw in the invitation, is just called a 3-year plan at a glance. So what it does is enable you to literally see, and it doesn't have to be a 3-year plan. It can be a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, whatever works for you for the project or the strategy that you're working on. This one is called a 3-year plan. It's on one sheet, so you get to see the big picture, your vision, your key goals over the next 1 or 2 years, your key actions for the current month, and your key tasks for this week or fortnight, all at a glance right in front of you. So I will share the screen and talk through the format. Right, can you all see that?
Yes.
Can you see it? Great. Okay, so as you can see, it is very embarrassingly basic. As I said, it can be for whatever term works, for whatever project you need this kind of daily tool in front of you for. The top left corner is the information that won't change. So the vision that you have for your organisation or for the project or for the initiative that you're doing the plan for, the bigger picture, what the purpose is, the why. So that's the top left corner. And then the top right corner are your key goals over the next 1 or 2 years. And then out of that, the bottom left corner are the key actions related to those goals for this month. So those are the things that go into your diary. And then the bottom right corner is what you need to get done in order to achieve those actions this month, what you need to get done this week. And on my one, that bottom right corner, I use a post-it. So every week I just change out that bottom right corner with a post-it note and just handwrite the key tasks that I need to get done this week. I can share what our one looks like if that would be of any use. Yeah, so that's what mine looks like, and yeah, the bottom right corner is the post-it note, but I just typed it up for this purpose. So I think the best way to move through this is to actually, if you've got a piece of paper or a spare monitor in front of you, perhaps get a blank screen or a blank sheet of paper and divide it into 4. And we'll put the blank one back up. Think of a program, or it might be your entire organization that you want to do a 3 or 5 year plan at a glance for. Put the date, i.e. this week. And then perhaps if we all chip away at this and write down your project or organization vision for the next 5 years or 3 years or whatever it might be in that top left box. Has everybody got something that they can actually use to do this? Does anybody want to share their vision for the next 3-5 years, whatever the project is for? Does anybody have any questions around how to, articulating the vision?
Vicki, should we put it in the chat or should we talk to it? What's
I think talk, otherwise it's going to be a very quiet session.
Oh, sorry, Cameron's got his hand up. Let me hand over to him.
It makes sense to always have the vision in place and then the longer term goals. It's quite a big jump between 2 years and 1 month. I tend to have a 1 month and a 3 month going at any one time, and then rolling. So every month or even every 2 weeks, there's this month and the 3 months. So that you're as to what do I have to do, but then the context, the immediate context. And 2 years might be too far away to provide adequate context for the immediate tasks. But then you've got this week. So I'm just interested to hear views on what are the appropriate chunks of the different horizons.
I think it might depend on where your organisation or project is at. In our case, we're at a very early stage of our life, if you like. So our 2-year objectives or goals are pretty clear. They're establishment goals. So the 2 years is workable for us, but I hear what you're saying, and perhaps if the project was shorter term or the context required that you did have shorter timeframes, you could even you could make it a 6 grid, 6 segment grid, and still have everything at a glance. It's not set in concrete. It's whatever works for you within the single page format. Has anybody else got suggestions that might add to the functionality?
Maybe I can speak through like our experience. So ordinarily we have done like a 2-year strategic plan. So the vision is in place. So I'm taking it that the vision is that the strategic plan. So this is the first time from this year, 2022 to 2027, where we have got a 5-year plan. And the way we approach it is that we have got sort of like an acronym that is called GIVE. So the G stands for the grow, the I for the impact, the V, the value, E, evidence, and S is sustain. So across our different programmings that are around the school leadership and how we deal with learners, then we take each of the acronym and look at if it's grow, what do we want to test, what do we want to refine, and especially when we have got any new components across our programs, and then we have those in. Then we look at the evidence that mainly looks at the especially where we have research and we have got our assessments. How do we ensure that we are generating evidence that impacts? And so with each of those values, then we have got very specific goals that we are working towards. And then now, similar to yours, then we go for each particular year out of the 5, we have got key particular focus areas that are then broken down into the key actions. So like the key actions are divided per each different department, the programs, the monitoring, evaluation, the operations, the development desk. So each of them are contributing towards the vision and towards to a component of the GIVES. And then when it comes now to the monthly and to the tasks, then that now is broken down again further by different individuals as per their departments and contributes towards their work plan. So that's how we do it. And I like your quadrant that really basically simplifies it very well, because we don't have such a simple format, but I'm seeing how picking up some of what we already have, and having a snapshot of everything on one page and changing that either quarterly or monthly, how that would really help. So this for me is already very helpful, because I can see how I can apply and translate our huge plan into this one pager.
Yeah, thank you, Faith. I think that's a really important point that you've made, and one that I should have probably mentioned right at the start, is that most of us have, hefty, like multi-page strategic plans that cover, the next 3 to 5 years. Invariably, they sit in a digital file and have to be pulled out occasionally to review for the board or whatever. But what I love about this is that, as Faith has just said, you can pull out the key the key components of your strategic plan and have it in front of you every day so that you get peace of mind knowing that, you know, oh, I am heading towards, you know, whether it's your KPIs or, you know, your organizational objectives, you know that they are, you're working towards them. They're not just sitting in the digital folder, hoping that you're kind of going to be able to tick them off. That like they're right there in front of you every day. And yeah, also the format doesn't have to be 4 quadrants. Like I said, you know, you can put pictures on it. You can, you know, like in Faith's case, you obviously your GIVES acronym is going to be in there somewhere as the filter that everything goes through. So you can design it in whatever way works for your organization. Is there any other suggestions or reflections? I would like to share that with this, we have what we call a hui, which is like a mini conference. We have an annual hui with our school partners, and at our hui at the beginning of last year, we introduced this with our school leaders who are not great fans of strategic plans, shall we say. And we workshopped this with them using our program as their project for their 3-year plan. So thinking about our Connect Futures community engagement project, they then worked through and did what their vision was for the project in their school, what their goals were over the next medium term, what their key actions were for the shorter term, whether it be month or whatever work might be term for them in a school, and then what needed to be done more immediately. And they went away from that mini conference with a very clear idea of what they needed to go back to school, what they could delegate, what they could monitor their team members to be it empowered them, and it gave them a sense of ownership of our program that they previously hadn't had, because they are all quite new to this. So I would really recommend this as a simple tool that can be used by your stakeholders. And what's even more valuable is that when we go into the schools now and do our support work with them, this is the basis of what we work to. So we work with the 3-year plans that they designed, and you know, we change them and adjust them and update them and review them, but this is the basis of how we monitor progress and plan for what's ahead for them. So yeah, and I can really recommend it. It's simple, it's easy to understand, and it gives them a thorough understanding of what they need to achieve in their very, very comprehensive roles. So can anybody see an opportunity to use a tool like this, whether it's this or something similar, within your networks and with your key stakeholders?
Vicki, thank you for presenting this. And the art, I think, is in the simplicity of it. It's beautifully simple, and I'm a huge fan of simplicity. I think it's really useful. We use something which is more around planning, called a RACI matrix, which is, I think it's responsibility and accountability, but it's much more complicated than this, and it doesn't include as a, you know, this is nice because it's a planning tool and a vision tool at the same time. And I can see it value for it in my own organization as well as another organization that I work with voluntarily, that would, I think, is going to absolutely love this. So thank you for the other thing that I was thinking of using it in the way that I might adapt it is to use color. I like another little tool I like is that responsibility. I mean, that's a priority matrix, you know, where you've got the quads, and it might be nice to kind of use color and put that into this as well, you know, without losing the simplicity of it, which is the magic. But yeah, I really it's like taking a step back and seeing it.
When I first started using it, like you say, I thought I was almost embarrassed at the simplicity, but you know, like we can all wrap our brains around this model and that model, and you know, we've all been there and we've all done that. But yeah, like you say, it's so simple that it becomes a tool that can really, a shared tool that becomes, you know, and something that makes everything more relatable for your partners and yourselves when you're all kind of singing from a similar song sheet. Whether that's between, you know, for those of you that work in quite large organizations, it could be, you know, an interdepartmental tool of, you know, that that just clears the way and simplifies the key issues for people that might not be in your department. Yeah, I think it, like you say, the beauty is definitely in the simplicity. I'm open to where we go from here. If you think it would be valuable to head off into breakouts and just spend a few minutes actually working through the design and the population of the plan for yourselves, we can do that, or we can move on to the next phase of the session. So I have another little trick that works well at the end of meetings and huis and sessions like this, and gives people something to take out. So I'd like to share that as well. But these sessions are all about practical techniques. So if you feel there's value in heading into breakouts for, say, 7 minutes, welcome back. Right, is there anything that anybody kind of discovered or realised or wants to share about the process that they think would be useful to others? No. If you've got any general queries or suggestions, you can always use the chat as well. So
I'll say something, yes. Vicki.
Thank you.
It was interesting. The group I was in, there were a few other tools mentioned as well, like monday.com. And I didn't say this in the group, it's just a reflection now. I think also the tool you use is, Cameron said it's a huge investment, you know, to choose the right tool. But I think it also depends on the kind of person you are and the kind of project and the context. And not, I always, in my own team, I'm sometimes resistant to people bringing in new, like Slack, now we're using Team, now we're using Zoom, now we're using, because I think, hang on, it's process here, not, you're not going to fix the process by introducing a new tool. And that tends to be the tendency. Yeah, I think my reflections were that you've got to adapt to how you as a person think and feel, and also what the demands of the context are in terms of which tool you choose.
Yeah, it's true. And yeah, there are so many out there, aren't there? Like you say, there's something new every day, every week. It can become a bit of a minefield. So moving on to the final phase then, what it would be really interesting if we could perhaps put into the chat is three thoughts as a result of anything that you've worked through tonight or anything that you've seen, just as a take, maybe what you think of being part of Nexus. The first thought is I wish thought. The second thought is an I will thought. And then the third is I wonder thought. So it just means that any time that you're in a session like this, whether it's Nexus or with your own teams or whatever, you can always be guaranteed that you've got something valuable to take out, whether you felt it was of value or relevance or not so much. So yeah, I wish, I will, I wonder. And you can either jot those down or put them in the chat. Give that a couple of minutes, and then we'll do a round of thanks, and then we'll head off. Okay, so Neve, can you talk us through your I wish and I will?
Yeah, sure. So I was just thinking about how I think I need to spend a bit of time thinking about the tasks that, pop up during a week or a certain time period, and about how I can be a bit more intentional with, what it is that the program that I run, what we're trying to achieve, and then also on a bigger scale of the organization, which I think is quite a big task. So I think I need to spend a bit of time on that. And I will test out the template. Thanks for that. I think maybe there'll be some little parts that I'll try to kind of personalize a bit to suit maybe a particular goal or within a particular time frame, depending on the cycles that we run. So yes, I want to experiment with it. So yeah,
Right.
Thanks for that, Vicki.
That's great. And Gillian, if we could talk us through your I wonders and your wills.
Okay, I can't remember what I wrote, but I just like what Neve said about intentionality. I just want to say that's such a useful word because, you know, in terms of moving through things and forgetting the intentionality. So the wonder was I can't remember what it is, but anyway, I would like to try and adapt it as well with some other things and just see, but still keep the simplicity of it, which is so useful. And then there's another organization that I really wish I could introduce it to, and yeah, I think it was fantastically useful. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you. My I wish I will, I wonder was I wish I could meet you all in person. That would be fun. I will update my plan because that I update the post-its, but I often forget to look at the top right and bottom left quadrant. So that's another tip. Just keep an eye on those while if you do use this on a weekly basis. And I do wonder what the next practical techniques session will be. I think I will look forward to that. Not being in the hot seat. So can we start just a quick round of thank yous? Faith, can we start with you? It doesn't need to be about the technique or the tool, but just an acknowledgement, a gratitude comment to share. Faith, can we start with you?
Sorry. Sorry. So about my wills and wonders, right?
Just the gratitude comment to sign out for at the end of the session. It doesn't have to be about what we've been working on. It can be anything that you've heard or people you've met or anything to do with Nexus or just something to share.
All right.